My first experience with the YMCA was with YMCA government-funded programs in Chicago, programs that were dealing with youth who were having issues. We were trying to get them prepared either to go back and finish high school, get jobs. It was training for young people. And I think we did it with both black and Spanish speaking. And so those are the young people that we were working with. Well, let's see, my journey started before the Y because I taught school. And then I worked for public assistance. And when I found that that wasn't going to work, I went to the Y because there was an opening, and I applied for it and I got it. And I was in these various programs with the YMCA. And then I got involved in the human potential movement. Okay, the sensitivity sessions, Oklahoma, Norman, Oklahoma, where, what was it, an organization, that's where they used to have these sensitivity sessions. And so the YMCA sent people out there, and they came back and they taught us. And then we began to do sensitivity sessions. And I remember that particularly because the first sensitivity session I attended was a marathon. And I didn't know what a marathon was. And a marathon is one where you don't go to bed. You just talk, you get so tired that you breaks down your defenses. And so you keep on talking, you get more into yourself, into what makes you tick. That got me involved in the whole training area, which I like very much. And at that time in the Y, we had a 30-day off-site training to go to the next level, senior director. And I began doing those trainings. And that was, when I'm doing a training of other people and helping them to grow into who they are going to be next, my involvement also affects me. And what they say and do also affects me. So it's a time of my growth also, which is very exciting. I wasn't always sure at the beginning, but as I saw these young people growing and becoming more aware of themselves and their commitment and getting more solid in their commitment to the Y, it was very gratifying, very gratifying. So you got it, G.A. Okay, yeah. So once I got started in that, I continued doing that throughout the rest of my career in the Y. And I was with the Y altogether 27 years in Chicago and then in Minneapolis. The reason that I was moving around from Chicago to Minneapolis, when the last program, which was called Share 20, ended, I went to John Root, who was the CEO of the Chicago Y, and to Dunbar Reed, who was the regional exec for Region 1. And I said, what do you have for a black woman? What kind of positions can you offer? And one of the things I had to do, I had to struggle with, am I a black woman or am I a woman who's black? I can't tell you, remember, which I ended up, but I think I said a woman who is black. And they both offered me positions. I took the Region 1, the Region Associate position, and that was in 1970. July, I think, of 1970. And in 1971, January, Dunbar Reed, upon whose shoulders I stand, sent me to UCLA for 6 weeks for learning, community, and organization development. And that's how I got started with the OD piece of my portfolio. Out of the sessions and trainings that I did with people of color in the YMCA, one of the big issues was finances, because most of them were at branches that were either non-English speaking, like Spanish speaking, or black. And those branches had less money than all the other branches. And it was like it is now, this between the rich and the poor. There was a big gap. And so it was a struggle sometimes to be able to get them, especially the program staff, to some of these sessions that I was doing. Because if the execs came, then the program staff had to be there because there were probably only one program staff, only one other person there. So that made it difficult. And one of the things I was trying to do was to get the rest of my staff, on the region staff and the field staff, is to work with the CEOs of these different YMCAs to encourage them to be supportive of their non-white staff getting the training that they needed. It's important to be able to spread yourself, to be able to interact with people of all kinds, sizes, shapes, and beliefs. And you can't do that if you haven't spent time empathizing with others, which is one of the programs today. So it's still important because people need to come together, and the YMCA is supposed to be that kind of an organization that brings people of diverse beliefs, ideas, job qualifications together, so to build a stronger movement. Well, I know that I was the first African American woman on the national staff as a field consultant. I don't know how many, we've had other women. I don't know what it's like now. But it was hard bringing on women. You know. There was still that reluctance to have women in equal positions with the men. Now, probably the men might not admit that. But there was, and there, I don't know whether there is now or not. But women, of course, women, we have the same issues as other blacks and non-whites. We have to be assertive, and we have to insert ourselves into groups, into the larger groups. So we have to do that. So I had to learn to do that, because being in Chicago, or being so many people of color are relegated either by others or by themselves of being in certain neighborhoods, certain areas, and they kind of stay with each other or people that are like them. And in order to be able to do something different, we have to move out and join with the others in order to get recognition, in order to be seen as competent. So it's like we always have to prove ourselves. And that hasn't changed.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I'm just so pleased, and I didn't say this last night, that I'm standing on the shoulders of the Dunbar Reed, Bill McAllister, Ron Sargent, who were my supervisors and who chastised me, taught me, gave me rope to let me learn, and were supportive of me. The first time I went to Africa was because Dunbar Reed said I needed to go. The second time I went to Africa was because Bill McAllister said I needed to go to work with the black execs there, the African execs. Yeah. So they were very strong in my behalf. And it's so great to know that the programs that I ran for non-white executives and staff has been wrapped up into the Emily program, and they're still doing it.
Yes.
And I guess I'd kind of like to know what their goals are. You know, where do they want this to go? Because it isn't enough just to say we've got a legacy program and we're doing that. We're meeting every, I don't know how often they meet. Where do they want it to go? And if we don't set goals, we don't know which direction to go. What do we want all these young people who are in the Emily program, how do we want to help them reach their goals? That's the only thing I'm about. How do I help others reach their goals? Number one, get the goals. Think of your mission in life and what the goals are to achieve your mission and what you have to do to achieve that. And sometimes you have to change jobs, move here, move there. But if you follow your mission and you follow those goals, you can achieve it. But you have to believe it.